Last night was a triumph for those that believe marijuana should be legal. Medical marijuana use passed in Massachusetts, but perhaps more significantly, recreational marijuana use passed in Colorado and Washington state.
One of the big changes from last night was legalizing the recreational use of marijuana, and that could change things here in Canada, especially since one of the votes in favor was right next door in Washington state.
I enforced our marijuana laws. I've come to believe they don't work. Filling our courts and jails has failed to reduce marijuana use, and drug cartels are pocketing all the profits. It's time for a new approach.
Yes, on 502.
Se podrá analizar el tiempo que se quiera, pero la legalización de la marihuana en Washington no es fruto de la casualidad. Fue un esfuerzo políticamente calculado. Lo que pasó en esta esquina de Estados Unidos hace una semana es solo el principio. En México, este sería un plantío ilegal de marihuana. En Washington y en franca rebeldía contra las leyes federales, ya es una mina de oro. A Seattle se le conoce más por otros productos como Kurt Cobain, Pearl Jam y el café de Starbucks. Pero tras la votación de la semana pasada que legaliza el uso recreativo de la marihuana, esta ciudad del noroeste se está preparando ya para ser la nueva capital verde de Estados Unidos y para administrar lo que se anuncia como una bonanza.
We're going to operate with best practices, and that means modern business practices. We have, Microsoft Dynamic RMS computer systems, tight inventory control, and basically systems that you would see in any other business.
Mientras políticos de México hablan de debatir, en Washington no se pierde el tiempo. A una semana de la aprobación del uso recreativo de la cannabis, la industria estatal ha comenzado a sentar las bases para un negocio que generará anualmente hasta $500 millones en ingresos legales. Cientos de productos ya están listos para su venta al público.
These are some of our different delivery systems that are used. Cannabis is embedded in these. This is a Rice Krispie treat that there's cannabis embedded in that. And that would be somebody's maybe single dose, perhaps 2 doses, medicinal doses. There's other things that are tinctures. This is a tincture. This is used sublingually under your tongue. And that's absorbed in the lining of your mouth. Faster acting. There's even topicals. These are topical creams that are rubbed on the skin. And they have medicinal purposes. They'll soak into the skin and alleviate inflammation and things. This is some of what we call concentrates. These are concentrated cannabis. This is called keef. Keef is a byproduct of the hash, and this is keef. Lollipops that are embedded with cannabis. So for people that don't smoke, this is a real good option. One in particular tincture I have is non-psychoactive. So this is one that's very, very effective, and we place a lot of this. This is used sublingually, good for migraine headaches and good for people that have spasms. People that have MS, this was developed by someone that has MS. Excellent for those type of spasms that they have. Again, non-psychoactive, and we sell a lot of it. We're going to go to what we call our alpha room. This is the alpha grow room. We usually have 2 grows going at the same time. The plants will they start off in this stage right here, small, delicate, all labeled. This is an indica right here, the lavender. And then these plants are transplanted from this size, perhaps over to this size, where we have another level. And these will grow into this pot for another couple, 3 or 4 weeks, getting bigger in this pot. And then they'll even go into larger pots later. I'm going to open this door behind you here, and you'll see we've got a grow room going in this room. And so this is what we call our alpha room. There's mixed variety in here. This particular one here is the Harlequin strain, a high CBD strain, a very medicinal strain, we call this one. And each one of these plants are watered each day. Each one of these lights can produce about 1.5 pounds of cannabis grown properly. And so we'll probably produce and pull out of this room maybe 10 or 12 pounds of marijuana.
La despenalización total entrará en vigor el próximo 6 de diciembre, día bautizado aquí como el Smoking Day, la jornada de humo. Unas 300 dispensarías de marihuana medicinal en la ciudad y hasta unas 500 por todo el estado podrán reconvertirse desde entonces, tras el pago de una licencia de $250, en tienditas de la esquina. Con amparo de la ley, varios empresarios se han lanzado al negocio, como Vivian McPeak, uno de los principales activistas pro marihuana de la entidad y cofundador del festival Hempfest, que año con año reúne a entusiastas de la hierba. Su tienda, la primera de varias, está a punto de abrir sus puertas con productos derivados del cáñamo.
We think that marijuana is ready for the mainstream. We hear about marijuana being the gateway drug to other drugs. We disagree, but we believe that marijuana could be the gateway to economic recovery for America if it goes corporate.
Al menos en parte del norte, el paradigma ya cambió. Si el gobierno federal de Estados Unidos no decide lo contrario, en cosa de 2 semanas, Washington entrará a una era verde, con la cannabis convertida en todo un motor económico. Estos son cigarrillos de lo que aquí es conocido como viejo hippie. Es una variedad de marihuana aquí plantada en Washington. Es bastante cara, bastante potente y bastante lucrativa. Aquí podría fumarlo, podría venderlo, podría comercializarlo y podría hasta plantarlo y sería legal. Pero en donde usted me está viendo, allá en México, sigue siendo el objeto de una sangrienta guerra. Con imágenes de Gerardo Juárez para Milenio Noticias desde Seattle, Washington, Víctor Hugo Michel.